You know that feeling when you wake up in the middle of the night and your heart is racing because you finally understand something you've been avoiding for so long? That moment when clarity hits you like a lightning bolt and you realize you can't go back to who you were yesterday? That's exactly the energy I'm picking up on right now. And I need you to listen carefully because what I'm about to share with you is going to confirm what your soul already knows. Before we dive deep into this reading, I want you to remember something incredibly important. Only take what resonates with you. If something doesn't feel right in your spirit, leave it behind. But if you feel that tingling sensation, that knowing that yes, this is my truth, then hold on to those words because they're meant specifically for you. I'm shuffling the cards right now, and the energy is almost overwhelming. There's this heaviness mixed with liberation. Like you've been carrying something so heavy for so long that you forgot what it felt like to breathe properly, and now suddenly oxygen is flooding back into your lungs. The cards are practically jumping out of the deck because your guides, your angels, your higher self, whatever you believe in, they are desperate to communicate with you right now. They've been watching you struggle and they're so proud of where you're standing today. Let me pull the cards and see what messages are coming through for you. The first card that literally flew out of the deck is the Eight of Swords reverse. Oh my goodness, do you see this? Look at this imagery. In the upright position, this card shows a person blindfolded, bound, surrounded by swords, feeling trapped and helpless. But reverse, everything changes. Those bindings are falling away. The blindfold is slipping off. You're seeing clearly for the first time in forever. This card is screaming liberation, freedom, the end of self-imposed prison. And I need you to really hear this because this isn't just about feeling trapped. This is about recognizing that you had the power to free yourself all along, and you finally used it. The second card coming through is the Six of Swords, and I'm getting chills right now because this is the card of transition, of moving away from turbulent waters into calmer seas. Do you see the figure in the boat moving forward, leaving something behind? That's you. You're in transit right now. You're not where you were, but you're not quite at your destination yet either. You're in that in-between space, and it might feel uncomfortable, it might feel uncertain, but I promise you the direction you're heading is so much better than where you've been. And the third card, oh, this is beautiful. This is the Knight of Cups. Not the page, not the king, but the knight. This is movement. This is someone coming toward you with emotional maturity, with genuine feelings, with pure intentions. This knight rides in with a cup overflowing, offering you something real, something stable, something that your heart has been crying out for while you were stuck in that toxic situation. This is the universe saying, we see you, we acknowledge your pain, and we're sending you exactly what you need. Now let me weave these cards together because the story they're telling is absolutely breathtaking, and I need you to understand the journey you've been on. For how long have you been stuck? Days? Months? Years? How long have you been telling yourself that maybe it wasn't that bad, maybe you were overreacting, maybe if you just tried harder or loved more or gave more or sacrificed more, things would change? The Eight of Swords reversed is validating everything you felt. It's saying, yes, you were trapped. Yes, you were in a situation that was suffocating your spirit. And yes, it was real and your feelings about it were justified. Here's what's so powerful about this card being reversed. You removed your own blindfold. Nobody came to rescue you. You didn't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. Something inside you shifted and you said enough. That word, that powerful word, enough. You've been building up to this decision and it's been so hard because walking away from toxicity isn't as simple as people who haven't experienced it. Think it's not just about leaving a person or a situation, it's about leaving behind the version of yourself who accepted less than you deserved. It's about mourning who you were when you tolerated manipulation, when you made excuses for abuse, when you convinced yourself that emotional drain was somehow proof of love or loyalty or commitment. The energy around this reading is telling me that this decision you've made, this boundary you finally set, This door you finally closed, it wasn't impulsive. You've been thinking about this for so long. You've had conversations in your head. You've made lists of reasons to stay and reasons to go. You've second guessed yourself 1,000 times. But something happened recently, didn't it? Maybe it was one more lie, one more broken promise, one more moment where you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the exhausted, depleted person staring back at you. Maybe it was a moment of clarity where you suddenly saw the pattern so clearly that you couldn't unsee it. Whatever it was, it pushed you past the point of no return. And sweetheart, I'm so proud of you for honoring that moment. The Six of Swords is confirmation that you're doing the right thing even when it feels terrifying. Moving away from what's familiar, even when what's familiar is painful, requires tremendous courage. This card shows up when you're in the thick of transition, when you've left the shore but haven't reached the other side yet. You're in the boat, you're on the water, and maybe you're looking back wondering if you made a mistake. Let me tell you something, you didn't. The swords in the boat with you, those represent the lessons you're carrying forward. You're not leaving empty-handed. Every moment of pain taught you something about your worth, about your boundaries, about what you will and will not accept in your life moving forward. I'm picking up that this transition period might feel lonely. You might have lost people who didn't understand your decision, who tried to convince you to give the situation one more chance, who made you feel guilty for choosing yourself. The Six of Swords acknowledges that journey across the water can be solitary, but solitary doesn't mean wrong. Sometimes you have to travel alone to find out who you really are, underneath all the expectations and projections and manipulation. Sometimes you have to sit with yourself in the quiet and rediscover your own voice after spending so long listening to someone else's version of who you should be. But here's where the reading gets really exciting. Here's where I want you to pay very close attention because the universe is about to reward everything you've been through. The Knight of Cups is coming, not metaphorically, not eventually, but actually coming into your life. This is a person, a real human being who operates from a completely different frequency than what you've experienced. Where there was manipulation, this person brings transparency. Where there was emotional unavailability, this person brings genuine presence. Where there was chaos and drama and uncertainty, this person brings stability and peace and the kind of love that feels like coming home. This Knight of Cups energy is so beautiful because it's not immature like the page, still figuring things out, still playing games, still unsure of what they want. And it's not rigid like the King, set in their ways, unable to be vulnerable, leading with logic instead of heart. The Knight is the perfect balance. This is someone who has done their own healing work, who has looked at their own patterns and traumas and decided to break the cycle. This is someone who shows up consistently, who means what they say, who doesn't make you guess or wonder or decode mixed signals. With this person, you'll actually be able to relax. Imagine that. Imagine being in a relationship where you're not constantly on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop, analyzing every word for hidden meaning, walking on eggshells to avoid triggering an explosion. The Knight of Cups brings the energy of a true romantic, but not in the shallow way. Not flowers and chocolates to make up for bad behavior. We're talking about someone who remembers the little things you mentioned in passing, who shows up when they say they will, who protects your peace instead of disturbing it, who sees your value and reflects it back to you until you remember it yourself. This person is going to feel familiar in a way that might surprise you. Not familiar like the toxic patterns you're leaving behind, but familiar like you've known them forever, like your souls recognize each other, like this is what you were waiting for all along without even knowing it. I'm getting strong messages that this person has been through their own journey. They're not coming to you as a perfect person who's never made mistakes or never been hurt. They've been broken too. They've done the work too. They understand pain and healing and growth in a way that only someone who's walked through fire can understand. That's why this connection is going to be so deep. It's not surface level attraction. It's not just physical chemistry or shared interests. It's soul level recognition. It's two people who have both decided they deserve better meeting at exactly the right time. And can we talk about timing for a moment? Because the sequence of these cards is so deliberate, so intentional, so perfectly orchestrated by forces beyond our understanding. You had to experience the Eight of Swords, that feeling of being trapped, in order to develop the strength to free yourself. You had to go through the Six of Swords, that transitional journey across difficult waters, in order to appreciate the solid ground waiting for you. And you had to do both of those things before you could be ready for the Knight of Cups. If this person had shown up while you were still stuck in toxic patterns, you might not have recognized their value. You might have self-sabotaged or chosen familiar dysfunction over healthy, unfamiliar territory. But now, after everything you've been through, you're going to recognize this person for the gift they are. What you endured wasn't pointless. I need you to really absorb that, because I know there were moments where you felt like you were wasting your time, wasting your love, wasting years of your life on someone or something that didn't deserve it. But nothing is wasted when it teaches you something essential about yourself. That painful chapter you're closing built the foundation for everything that's coming. It taught you what you don't want so clearly that you'll immediately recognize what you do want when it arrives. It showed you what real manipulation looks like, so you'll never fall for subtle versions of it again. It drained you so completely that you learned how to fill your own cup, how to validate yourself, how to be whole on your own, so that when partnership comes, it's an addition to your happiness, not the source of it. Every tear you cried, every sleepless night you endured, every moment you felt small or worthless or broken, it was all building something in you. It was building discernment. It was building boundaries. It was building self-respect. It was building the kind of strength that only comes from surviving what you thought would destroy you and realizing you're still standing, still breathing, still capable of hope and love and trust despite everything. The universe doesn't waste experiences. Every single thing you went through was preparing you for what's coming, and what's coming is so good, so pure, so aligned with your highest good that you're going to look back and understand why it all had to happen exactly the way it did. I'm feeling such strong protective energy around you right now. It's like your spirit guides have formed a circle around you and they're saying no more, not anymore, never again. They're not going to let you settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. They're not going to let you minimize your worth or accept disrespect or tolerate behavior that makes you question your sanity. They've watched you suffer, and now they're actively intervening, actively clearing the path, actively removing obstacles, and bringing in the people and opportunities that match your new vibration, because you've changed, haven't you? You're not the same person who entered that toxic situation. You've been refined by fire. You've been transformed by pain. You've been reborn through the decision to choose yourself. The Knight of Cups isn't just bringing romance. This person is bringing healing. They're going to show you what it feels like to be seen fully and loved anyway. They're going to show you what it feels like when someone is proud to be with you, instead of constantly criticizing or trying to change you. They're going to show you what partnership actually means. Real partnership, where both people are lifting each other up instead of one person constantly sacrificing while the other takes and takes and takes. You're going to feel safe enough to be vulnerable again, and that's terrifying after what you've been through. But it's also the most beautiful gift, because vulnerability is where real intimacy lives. This new connection is going to feel warm. That's the word that keeps coming through. Warm. Like sitting by a fire on a cold night. Like being wrapped in a blanket that smells like home. Like drinking tea that soothes you from the inside out. After the coldness, after the distance, after the emotional abandonment, warmth is going to feel almost shocking. You might not trust it at first. You might wait for it to turn cold, for the mask to slip, for the real person underneath to reveal themselves as just another version of what you left. But time is going to prove that this warmth is genuine, consistent, real. This person's actions are going to match their words. Their presence is going to match their promises. And slowly, carefully, you're going to let yourself believe that maybe, just maybe, this is what you've been waiting for. There's a destined quality to this connection that I can't quite put into words, but I can feel it so strongly in the energy. It's like the universe has been writing this story for a long time, and you're finally at the chapter where everything starts to make sense. All the detours, all the wrong turns, all the people who weren't right for you, they were all leading you here to this moment, to this person, to this version of yourself who is strong enough, wise enough, healed enough to receive what you're being offered. Destiny doesn't mean easy. It doesn't mean without challenges or growth or work, but it does mean meant to be. It means aligned. It means this connection has a purpose beyond just making you happy, though it will do that too. This connection is going to continue your healing, expand your capacity for love, teach you things about yourself you didn't know were possible. I want to acknowledge how brave you are because I know this reading might be bringing up a lot of emotions. Relief that you made the right choice. Hope for what's coming. Maybe some grief for what you're leaving behind. Not because you want it back, but because mourning is part of closure. Maybe some fear that this is too good to be true. That the Knight of Cups is just wishful thinking. That you're going to end up hurt again. Those feelings are all valid, all understandable, all part of the human experience of transformation. But I need you to trust what the cards are showing. I need you to trust your own intuition that led you to this reading at this exact moment. I need you to trust that the decision you made to cut off that toxic energy was divinely guided and is opening the door for blessings you can't even imagine yet. You are stepping into your true strength and self-worth, not the false confidence that comes from pretending you're okay when you're not. Not the defensive walls you built to protect yourself from more hurt, but real, grounded, unshakable knowledge of your value. The kind that doesn't need external validation. The kind that doesn't crumble when someone treats you poorly because you know their behavior reflects them, not you. The kind that allows you to set boundaries without guilt, to walk away from what doesn't serve you without looking back, to take up space and speak your truth, and demand respect as a baseline, not a bonus. This is your power reclamation era, and honestly, you're going to be unstoppable. Everything you've been through has been building to this moment of awakening where you finally see yourself the way the universe sees you. Worthy, deserving, valuable, lovable, not because of what you do or how much you give or how well you meet someone else's needs, but simply because you exist. Your worth is inherent, not earned. That toxic situation tried to convince you otherwise, tried to make you believe you had to prove yourself, had to earn love through sacrifice and suffering. But that was a lie, and you're finally seeing through it. You're finally understanding that real love doesn't cost you your peace, your joy, your sense of self. Real love adds to your life. It doesn't subtract, it doesn't diminish, it doesn't make you smaller so someone else can feel bigger. The Knight of Cups is bringing exactly that kind of love. Mature love, conscious love, the kind of love that says, I see all of you, the light and the shadow, the strength and the vulnerability, the healed parts and the parts still healing, and I choose you anyway. This person is going to meet you where you are. They're not going to rush you or pressure you or make you feel like you need to be further along in your healing than you are. They're going to give you space to grow, encouragement to keep going, and steady presence that reminds you you're not alone in this journey anymore. They understand that trust is rebuilt slowly, that walls come down brick by brick, that love after trauma requires patience and gentleness and consistency above all else. What I love most about this reading is the progression. You're not jumping from toxicity straight into a new relationship. The Six of Swords is that crucial middle phase where you're doing the work, where you're processing, where you're learning to be alone without being lonely, where you're rediscovering who you are outside of that dynamic that consumes so much of your energy. This transition time is sacred. It's necessary. It's where the real transformation happens. And the fact that the Knight of Cups comes after this transition tells me that you're not going to rush into something new out of fear of being alone or desire to fill a void. You're going to be genuinely ready when this person appears because you'll have already done the internal work of healing and self-discovery. I keep getting messages about worthiness, and I think your guides really want to emphasize this because maybe you're still struggling with it. Maybe part of you still believes you somehow deserved the toxicity, somehow caused it, somehow failed to be enough. Please hear me when I say that. Nothing, absolutely nothing you did or didn't do justified manipulation, abuse, or emotional drain. Nothing. You are not responsible for another person's choice to harm you. You are not responsible for their inability to love you properly. You are not responsible for trying to make something work that was broken from the beginning. What you are responsible for is what you do now, moving forward, and you're doing it. You're choosing yourself. You're setting boundaries. You're clearing space for what you actually deserve. That's powerful beyond measure. The universe is about to show you what happens when you align with your worth instead of negotiating it. When you stop accepting less than you deserve, suddenly everything shifts, opportunities appear, people show up differently, doors open that were previously locked. It's not magic, though it can feel magical. It's energy. It's the law of attraction. It's you finally broadcasting a signal that says, I value myself and I will only accept what matches that value. And the Knight of Cups is responding to that signal. This person is coming because you're ready, because you're no longer tolerating toxicity, because you've made space for something real and healthy and good. Your life is about to feel so different, peaceful, stable, joyful. You're going to wake up without that knot in your stomach. You're going to go through your day without constantly checking your phone with anxiety or dread. You're going to sleep through the night without your mind racing with worry about what you did wrong or how to fix something that isn't your responsibility to fix. You're going to remember what it feels like to just be, to exist without hypervigilance, to relax into yourself and your life without waiting for the next crisis or confrontation or disappointment. This is what the Six of Swords is carrying you toward: calmer waters, gentler days, a life that doesn't require you to be in survival mode constantly. And in that peace, in that stability, the Knight of Cups is going to find you, not when you're desperate or depleted or frantically searching, but when you're whole, when you're grounded, when you're standing in your power, in your worth. That's the beautiful divine timing of it all. The universe waited until you were ready to receive what you've been asking for. Because if it had come earlier, you might not have valued it properly. You might have sabotaged it or missed it entirely because you were still caught up in toxic patterns. But now, after everything, you're going to recognize this person and this love for the absolute treasure it is. You're going to protect it, nurture it, and allow it to grow in ways you never could have before. I want to leave you with this final message that's coming through so clearly. What happened to you wasn't fair, it wasn't right, it wasn't what you deserved, but it's over now. That chapter is closed. The Eight of Swords reverse says the prison door is open and you've walked out. The Six of Swords says you're moving towards something so much better. And the Knight of Cups says love, real love, pure love is on its way to you. Everything you went through built the foundation for lasting happiness and love. All that pain, all that struggle, all those tears, they weren't in vain. They were excavating space in your heart for something deeper, richer, more profound than you've ever experienced before. You are now receiving what you deserve, not as a reward for suffering, but as a natural consequence of choosing yourself, of doing the hard work of healing, of refusing to settle for anything less than genuine love and respect. The universe sees you. Your guides see you. I see you. And soon, very soon, the Knight of Cups is going to see you too. And they're going to marvel at your strength, your resilience, your capacity to remain open-hearted despite everything you've endured. They're going to feel honored to love you, to support you, to build something beautiful with you. And you're going to feel, maybe for the first time ever, truly safe in love, truly seen, truly cherish, truly home,